Those. We were talking amongst ourselves and I saw it went live. Anyway, those emus were crazy this morning. Morning, y'all.
Good morning.
It is April the 5th and 8 o'clock here in Alabama. Hope everybody's doing well.
I hope y'all are. I hope you're having an awesome morning this morning.
Wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Hope you got your coffee in tow, or at least maybe gonna have some coffee in tow.
Speaking of coffee.
Yeah.
I got Mr. Ryan the roaster. He's new French vanilla. And I must say he's pretty good. I'm not a big, well, I shouldn't say, I do like some. I like this one. But flavor coffee, but this one's good.
It is. He does not overpower things.
He does.
And to me, that's the hint. Just for my palate. I don't know how y'all are, but I need to be able to taste it without going, whoo.
Right.
That's some strong vanilla.
Yeah.
So French vanilla coffee, it is for us this morning. And maybe we'll have some decaf French vanilla this afternoon.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah. I don't do caffeinated after 12.
No, it's not good.
It's not for me. Some people can drink it up till bedtime.
It don't bother me.
All right. So go ahead and say it. No calf. I see a lot of house tater this morning. No calf this morning.
I thought you were saying no caffeine.
No caffeine this afternoon. Tater can have the calf this afternoon.
No calf.
Okay.
No caffeine. No baby cow.
I guess Ryan could put on his decaf.
No calf.
No calf. That would be perfect, wouldn't it?
That would be perfect. No calf.
But we have calf this morning, just not a tater calf.
That's right. That's right.
That's confusing. She does not have a baby, y'all.
No baby.
She's walking around, eating in the pasture. Moody and Mildred were in the area where we feed, and Tater's out in the pasture, separated. Not separated, but she's separating herself from the herd. And that's one of the things, oh, goodness, I got to reading last night.
Oh, goodness.
Nick had sent me something about the stages of calving.
Nick?
No, not recently.
Oh.
Weeks ago. But I had to go back and refer to it because it left me. So I needed to freshen up a little.
Yeah.
And he sent it on Facebook to my personal account. And I went through and I read all the comments in the thread. And I watched the little video that he had sent. And I feel better. I need to do that about every 3 days to refresh. But we got a problem, Jason, during the night.
So the camera's not working.
So up until 2 o'clock a.m., the camera works fine. But after 2 o'clock, and I think you know what happens.
So I got a theory.
It's a solar camera, right?
It's a solar camera, and so it charges the battery up throughout the day. And I think somebody's checking it so much that it may drain the battery at night when the suns go down. But I don't know who that could be.
I don't either. I mean, it's a good thing I didn't give access to Zoe or anybody because I could blame it on her. But I look at it quite a bit, and it's just good for reference.
Yeah,
it's just good for me to know that she's not having any complications. And I literally burned the camera up by 2 o'clock in the morning. I can no longer get on it, and I'm like, come 2 o'clock when I go to look, I'm like, gosh, I didn't think I'd looked that many times.
I actually went and checked the camera yesterday to make sure everything was fine, and I didn't see anything wrong with
it.
It
worked till 2 a.m., so I'm draining the battery.
I think that's what it is.
I said to myself last night, I said, Tater, I'm not looking at the camera tonight. So if you want to have the baby, that's fine. And I looked at the camera. So she's going to have that calf when I don't look at the camera.
Oh, man.
And we have another camera that's on the back side of the barn stall that has 360-degree view. And I can turn it around. I can turn the light on. But if she's not
in that area,
then I can't see her. So this new camera is perfect until 2 a.m. So, it's probably going to be tomorrow. We've got some storms coming. I don't know. I want to say I'm giving up, but I'm not giving up because I'd be telling a story if I said I'm giving up. Just like last night, I said, Tater, I'm not looking at you tonight.
But you're checking it.
And I burned the camera up. Yeah.
Tater says she's No caffeinated.
Stormy said she's concerned about Tater. You know, I've talked to a vet about Tater, and I've talked to several other people that are more familiar with calving than we are. And I was told that there's no need to be concerned unless she goes down. If that calf is no longer alive inside of her, she's going to go down. And we have to be diligent to know, you know, if that were to happen. But until that time, there is no reason for us to be concerned.
Right.
There's just, you know, she's got a baby cooking.
She got one.
And it's still a bun in the oven. And then no need to. Good morning, Nick and Zoe. There's no need for concern until there's need for concern. Tell Brooke that.
That's right.
Tell Brooke that.
Tell Brooke that.
Yeah, I just there's just no need to worry. I mean, if she goes down, then we know that there's a problem and it can be treated quickly. And we're watching her so much that if something were to happen, we would know it.
Yeah, we'd know it.
But at this point, I just don't think it's feasible, and Dr. D doesn't either, to try to get her in the chute to check her again when we think she's as far along as she is.
Don't want to stress her out.
Is it charging?
Let's see.
Don't run my battery down now. I need to have it for the day.
It says loading.
Loading stream. That's what it's a little slow when it gets crunked back up.
Yeah.
But
it's like an old carburetor and engine in a car, like a.
Hey, you turned it off. You gotta turn it. No, don't let it keep spinning. It'll burn all the solar.
You gotta pump the gas a few times and
that's what it
give a little gas and finally it'll crank on up. Yeah.
Tater's gonna do that one day. She's gonna get crunk on up. She's gonna deliver with ease.
Oh goodness.
So don't worry about something that doesn't need to be worried about.
That's right.
I'm trying to do that myself, but I do know that there's no problem. If it was, we'd see signs in her. She's eating, she's drinking, she's walking, fine. She's good.
She's fine. She acts like she's fine.
She's breathing heavy because she's very pregnant. And I don't know if y'all saw that picture that I posted of me and Jason when I don't know how far along I was pretty far along. Close to 9 months, I would say, pregnant. And some of you said Jason looked like he might be close to 9 months pregnant too.
I gained a lot of weight when Brooke got pregnant.
Well, I was,
and that's called something.
Called men pregnancy is what it's called.
and that's not abnormal.
No, he ate when I ate. He ate the ice cream. I ate the ice cream. You know, we both did this pregnancy thing together. And there's a picture of me at, I don't know how far along I was. It's got to be close to calving time.
That's right.
Jason is, he's the biggest he ever was.
I did.
And I was the biggest I ever was. So in case y'all missed that picture.
Sympathy pregnancy. Sympathy weight.
Okay. Well, there we go.
And I shed it on off.
You did, because I was working on, shedding mine off. Of course, I was miserable because I had weight on me that I never had. And I won't say I was concerned about the way I looked, but obviously I was concerned about the way I felt. And we worked together and got ourselves back where we wanted to be. And
that's right. Nick said he gained more weight than Zoe when they had her it.
Really?
Oh, he said, yeah.
How about that? Huh.
So
well, it's about the same. Donna says she couldn't respond on YouTube. Make sure you're signed in, Donna, because if you're not signed in, you can't comment.
Yep, that's right.
That may be part of the problem.
Nick said it stayed. He
didn't lose it.
What he saying now? Oh, Nick.
Well, anyway, somebody said, "Well, you guys were so young." I was 34 and Jason was 35.
Yep.
So my friends had already had 10-year-olds.
Yep.
Most of them. And their children have graduated college and gone on to have their own children by now. So yeah, we were a little later than our friends, but
That's
hey,
right.
needless to say, we got a good one from
We
waiting.
do got a good one.
We waited and we did well. So
We do got a good one.
no regrets there.
Nope, not at all. You know, he was talking about Ryan and his coffee and how he puts just a little bit of flavor in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can hint. He wouldn't be a good bartender.
You don't think?
No, because I think most people wouldn't want just a little.
I would. I wouldn't want a lot. It wouldn't do me right, Jason.
Oh, me.
So Ryan, you can be my bartender. How's that? Do it light.
Oh goodness.
Most people want their money's worth, not me.
I want the money's worth.
I want a tenth of what other people want.
Oh my gracious. So in the last video, I scraped the pasture, and I try to do that at least once a week.
Right.
Maybe 2 times, but at least once a week. And I saw some people ask, why do we do that? And it's to keep it clean.
Mm-hmm.
Is the main thing, is to keep it clean. And then for what we found and what we read, you know, we've also collected the manure, but if you spread it like that, it breaks it up. So it's harder for the flies to lay their eggs in it.
Right.
And it spreads it out and causes it to turn into compost. So that's why we're doing it. Keep the pastures clean, try to keep our animals healthy. That's why we're doing it. So I was on the Screaming Chicken, went through there, got it all spread out, and was leaving out. And so got the gate, and I was pulling the gate through.
Oh, I forgot what you told me about this. Okay, now I remembered.
And the wind was blowing.
People get tickled at the way we say wind.
Yeah, I know that.
So he's talking about WIND. The wind was blowing.
The breeze.
The breeze was blowing.
The breeze was blowing pretty good. And it did cross my mind, but I thought it just ain't gonna do nothing. To be honest with you. So the wind's blowing, and I'm pulling the gate shut. And you know we got that electric fence wire that goes around the top to keep the cows in. Well, it laid over that little old thin wire, just laid over, just barely, just, you know, and no pop or nothing, just barely touched that gate.
And you didn't know it.
I caught it out of the corner of my eye, but I didn't think it was going to do anything. You know, I didn't. And so I'm pulling the gate shut, and all of a sudden, y'all, I thought, the rapture was happening. Oh, me. Y'all, that jolt hit me, and I went down to one knee, and I may or may not have said a bad word or two. I'm glad nobody was around. I asked you, did y'all hear me in the house? And that's is about as far as I can get on our property from the house. And y'all probably heard me. I went down to one knee, and like I said some ugly words. If my mama would have been around, she probably would have washed my mouth out with soap.
Did you sing Electric Avenue?
Oh, y'all, I know why they don't get over the fence.
I was going to say, Tater isn't going anywhere.
No. Oh, my gracious.
Every time I take that electric wire off, I've gotten so comfortable just taking it off and hooking it to the fence and not paying any attention to it.
That's what I did. I never would have thought that. And that's how big's that gate?
It's 12 foot.
That's a 12-foot gate. And that little old wire just barely just
touched that metal gate.
It electrified that entire gate. Let me tell y'all. Oh my gracious. Whoo-wee. So, of course, I let it go. And luckily, nobody was there to see me, unless Eugene was back here. If he'd have been back there, he would have been dying laughing at me.
He might have been. You told me about it later, and I said, oh, my goodness. He wanted to know if I heard him.
I did.
And I thought, well, no, if I'd heard you yelling like that, I probably would have came to your rescue. But I didn't hear you. And I'm not even going to say that I haven't done it yet, because Eventually, it's going to happen.
I'm warning you.
Thank you, Sandra.
I am warning you because you won't. I tell you what, I bet you I won't do it again.
Oh, I bet you. Well, you won't do it again for 6 months at least. It'll be fresh on your mind.
At least for 6 months, yeah.
At least for 6 months. Because you know what I find myself doing, Jason?
What?
So the wire's up there, and where the wire hits is about right here on my head. So I don't take it down. I just walk under it. And something about something that's in your vision.
Oh, and especially if you got a hat on.
Well,
because I've done hit my head on them ferns out front and on the side at least 10 or 15 times already.
When something's in your vision right here, it is just, I don't know what it is. I have been hit in the head by a 2x4.
Yeah.
I have. Do you remember when I ran into that scaffolding that we had at our old house?
That's right.
It was on our porch. We were doing some painting.
Yep.
We had a scaffold set up. I could visibly see the scaffold.
Yep.
But it got in my vision, and bam, just hit myself. Just about knocked myself out. So one day, I'm going to run into that electric wire, and it's going to go right across here. I'm probably going to have a permanent, what do they call those tattoos when people get struck by lightning?
I don't ask me.
Oh, Mary Cross told me about it. Sometimes when people get struck by lightning, it's a tattoo that happens from lightning. That's probably what I'm going to have across my forehead.
It's a wonder I don't have one on me after touching that gate.
I just thought of something. I said forehead because that's what we say here in the South.
What is it called?
But a lot of people say forehead.
Really?
Yeah. So do y'all say forehead? Well, I don't guess you know. It's spelled the same. Forehead or forehead.
Have you ever had your mouth washed out with soap?
No.
You hadn't?
No.
I have.
Well, you're naughty like that.
I got my mouth. We was at the beach. And we used to go to the beach. It'd be all the family. It'd be aunts and cousins. Granddaddy had a trailer down at Panama City Beach. And this is before Panama City was like it is now. You could see the beach, you know. And we were all at the beach. And I don't know what ugly word I said. I just remember that I got my mouth washed out with soap. I know that.
I know. Okay. So this is one thing that I did one time. So I told y'all, instead of watching TV in the evening with my family, we would have game night. And it was just me, my mom, and daddy. I'm the only child. So we played Monopoly most every single night for a long time, many years. So we're having game night, and I'm very competitive. Even at my old age, I'm very competitive. Well, I was probably 8, 9, 10 years old, very competitive. So we're playing Monopoly, and somehow my daddy passed me or my mama passed me, and I said an ugly word that I did not know was an ugly word. And I said it with meaning, and it was a bad one.
Oh, no.
And I don't know. My parents, they looked at each other, and they got all over me. And I was like, I didn't know it was bad. And they were like, well, if you didn't know it was bad, why did you say it in a bad situation?
Yeah.
You know, you were mad, and then you said this bad word. It started with a B and ended with a D.
Oh,
I said you.
Oh,
that.
man.
And oh my gracious, I had a very stern talking to. I wonder if Mama remembers that.
Oh, goodness.
I did not get my mouth washed out, and I'm glad I didn't, because I didn't know it. I did not know it was a bad word.
I'm thinking that that's the only time I remember getting it washed. I guess, you know, I learned my lesson. At least not say it in front of my, you know, adults.
I don't know where I heard this from. Did they say it on Smokey and the Bandit?
No. I don't know where they. No,
You know, they said something that was something bad, and you needed parental guidance for it.
Yeah.
But I think it was another word.
It's
Ooh, I meant it too. I said you, and
oh my goodness.
They looked at each other and they were in disbelief. Where did you hear that? Because obviously they didn't say anything like that. Joseph, thank you very much. I heard it somewhere though. I heard it somewhere. And TV back then,
yeah,
it didn't fly like that.
No,
You know,
it really
you just
not on regular TV anyway. Yeah.
unless you were watching a movie, and if I was probably with my parents, and they probably said, "Don't you ever repeat that."
Yeah.
But that one I heard somewhere.
Now I'm going to be honest. And I don't remember Mary Cross. She never said any ugly words.
No, she still hadn't.
But my sense of humor, and I find almost everything funny. I get tickled when a kid says it and don't know what it means, and it'd be hard for me not to laugh and correct them and scold them. It really would, but I'd have to hold it in.
But I think times are different, Jason,
It
because
may be, but
nowadays when we watch TV, regular TV, there's language that flies that we had never heard as kids.
Yeah.
And so they're a lot more exposed to it now than we were.
Yeah.
So I just feel like times are different. I don't know.
Maybe so.
I don't know. That's just my theory. My parents couldn't. They're trying to pinpoint where I could have heard this from, because I'm not going there again.
Yeah.
I can't be around these people. I got to talk to Mama about that. I got to remember to ask her if she remembers.
Yeah, ask her that, because I would like to know. Now, when I got my mouth washed out with soap, I mean, it was washed out with soap. It wasn't a little thing like on the Christmas Story, where they just stick the bar of soap in his mouth and he sits there with it in his mouth. That is not what happened to me.
You had to take a bite.
It was washed out, and I remember how nasty it tasted. Oh my gracious!
Oh gracious!
Oh me.
Yeah, yeah. Times have changed. I doubt any child this day and time experiences that unless it's from a grandparent or a great grandparent.
Yeah, I bet not many times. I bet their mouth doesn't get washed out with soap like they used to.
I bet not either. I bet not.
Oh.
And our soap would have had lye in it too. Not to say that.
There wasn't many brands back then.
Oh,
you probably would have had Ivory.
Oh goodness. You ever get soap taste in your mouth by accident?
And then Irish Spring.
Mm-hmm.
And gosh, I mean, Dial.
That person said that their mama used lava soap on them.
You know what? I lava soap was the next one I was fixing to say for a bar of soap, because
it was red, wasn't it?
Green or red, wasn't it? The package, the logo's red, but the lava soap's green.
Oh, is it? Okay.
At least I remember.
Yeah, everybody's saying lava soap.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness gracious! I tell you what, I'm glad I didn't get my mouth washed out though.
Zest. There's the other one.
I did not mean to say it.
Mm-hmm. Dove. I remember Dove that would have been another one too. There weren't many soaps back then.
Sandy said Mary Cross protected because she's not in public school, and they're probably right. There's benefits of homeschool and there's unbenefits of homeschool, and you kind of have to weigh your options. But for our child, it works out best. Not saying it would for everybody,
right?
But she's happy, we're happy, and
Coast was another one I remember.
Coast.
People are saying Life Body. I don't remember that one.
Pearl. I don't know that one either.
I remember Coast. Irish Spring. Mm-hmm.
I don't remember. That's funny. Body. Isn't it funny how times change? And that has not been that long ago.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
do they still make lava soap?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Every now and then I'd buy it for the guys at the shop when I was at the
dealership.
At the dealership.
In a bar?
No, it would be the liquid, but they still had the bar too. They did.
Charles, goodness gracious, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Life buoy, like a buoy, buoy.
Wordsmith.
Life buoy soap.
Okay.
Life buoy soap. Life boy. I don't remember that. I remember Boy's Life, the magazine.
Oh goodness, Jason.
I don't remember Life Boy.
Speaking of magazines, we recently frequented our thrift store here, our one that we've been through since we got here.
That's right.
It's called Katie's Closet,
right. Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot of different rooms. It's like a church fellowship hall that got turned into it's actually a nursing home, I think.
Is that what it was?
I think it's a nursing home.
It looks like something.
That long hall up to the right.
I was thinking a veterinarian office for some
I
reason.
don't think it was a nursing home. Nick and Zoe might know.
It'd be a lot of rooms though for a vet office, though, wouldn't it?
I
It was
think-
some type of doctor's office. I think you're right. It could have been nursing home.
Anyway, they have all these different rooms, and
Mhm.
different rooms have different things in it. You know, from sports equipment to magazine, books, antiques,
Mhm.
mirrors, electronics. So I'm in the room with the books. Jason and Mary Carl are somewhere else. So I get to looking, and I see these two milk crates, and they've got magazines in them.
Mhm.
Well, that just got me to grinning because there is nothing like an old magazine.
Right.
So I start looking through it, and I said, "Oh my gracious, Jason is gonna just flip his lid when I show him this."
And
So I start getting them all out, and they're like $5 for $1.
Oh yeah, they're
something
cheap.
like that.
Yeah.
And these are from the late 70s, early 80s.
Mhm.
And do y'all know what it was? Muscle cars.
It was muscle car magazine.
Muscle car magazines. And so I get a stack like this, and I take them to him, and he goes through it because, you know, we can't spend $3. We got to only spend $2 on these magazines. So he finds 10 that he likes and puts them beside the bed. Where have you read them?
I have looked through them, yes.
Okay.
And they got that old smell to it.
Oh, I bet
You
they
know
do.
what I mean? They got that old smell.
I bet they do.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fun to see all those old muscle car magazines. And Mary Carl and I went in there this week without you, and guess
Yeah.
what?
What?
They're still there.
There's still more in there?
All the rest of them are there. So when you get those wore out, we'll give them back to them. They can sell them again, and we'll buy some more.
Chris, some of them are. I got 2 of them are hot rod too. Mm-hmm.
Yep, hot rod magazines. There's one of them that was like
Old doctor's office.
old doctor's office. I didn't know what you're talking about.
Sorry.
So Nick and Zoe said they're
Mm-hmm.
Nick's a Clanton native, so it was an old doctor's office, and that makes sense because it's a long building with lots of rooms. Yeah, it's just, I mean, the advertisements in it were just
Mhm.
not like anything you see today. So classifieds in the back, you know, with some people selling some
Mhm.
stuff. It was just interesting. Just interesting. In the middle, you know, it had the thing where you folded it out and you could see the whole car
Right.
and like this long,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh yeah. It was awesome.
And you would examine it from front to back.
It was awesome. And I tell you what else. Every time we go to Hobby Lobby, and I said it right.
You usually say Hobby Lobby.
I usually put an S on it. But every time we go, I go to the model car section.
I love the model cars too now.
Every time. And I cannot tell you how close I have came to buy a model car. If they had a Firebird in there, I would have bought it.
You know, when we lived in the camper,
Mm-hmm.
we were opening gifts during that time because Mary Carl wanted to be on camera. And so you guys were sending us so much stuff that we were opening it and making videos out of it. And she was sent a model vintage camper that looked just like our little Yellowstone. Right. We call it the canned ham.
Yep, that's right.
And it was awesome because there wasn't a whole lot to do inside that camper when it wasn't daylight.
Yep.
You know, you were kind of limited. You could watch TV, but this gave her something to do. And she still got it. She put that camper together, and it was a little more difficult than your model cars.
It took her a good little minute.
Because it was not plastic. It was wood. And I remember she had it in her room in the camper. And I can remember one time one of the birds knocking a piece off of it and her just about having to come apart because like a wheel fell off or something. And she was like, "Do you know how long that took me to make?" So even she enjoyed putting together.
Well, they did too when I was a kid. They had the levels.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you had easy and then a little bit harder and a little bit harder, a little bit harder. And the same thing at Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby's got a big collection of model cars too.
I've been down that aisle before, but
it is a big collection.
I tell you, I have never had a steady hand. And I hope that's not an indication of what's to come as I get older because my mama doesn't either. Yeah. And my grandma didn't either.
Right.
Even as a teenager.
Yeah.
My hands have just never been steady. Not to say I'm shaky.
Right.
But when I go to do something that's intricate detail, I just can't hold steady.
Right.
So, I don't know that I could put a model together now and not get aggravated with myself.
I tell you, next time we go, I think I'm gonna
get the basic one.
I'm gonna get a model one. I'm not. I see the real easy ones snap together. They don't glue.
We need glue.
And then you got the glue, and then you got the paints. When I was a kid, I'd paint them, and I thought they looked great, and I'm sure they looked terrible.
Yeah. I remember painting them too. You and me, Carl, could work on one and put it together.
Yep, good.
You could find the pieces and she could glue them together.
And I can smell that model car glue right now, and I can smell the model car paint right now.
Well, I bet they probably have. You have to show your driver's license probably when you buy one.
Oh, gosh.
Because of the way things have changed with things such as that. You were talking about smelling it. Recently, what did I buy? That I
canned air?
Spray air. I had to show my driver's license and sign something.
And you can only buy 2.
I said, oh my gracious. And the person that was delivering it said, I don't know what this is that you have to sign for, because obviously it wasn't alcohol or cigarettes or anything like that. And I looked at it and I said, I think it was a can of spray air. And they were indeed just amazed. That,
like if you wanted to clean your keyboard or whatever.
And you know what else?
What?
I went to buy some spray paint not too long ago. And I was in big box store, Walmart. It's locked up.
The spray paint is.
The spray paint is locked up.
They probably because people spray paint on stuff.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But needless to say, it was kind of aggravating because you can't find an employee half the time.
Yeah.
They're off, stocking and doing something else. And I mean, if I'm going to get a can of spray paint, I'm not going to chase somebody down all across the store to unlock it. Right. I said, good gracious. Catherine said, kids huff paint. I guess that means they smell it or something.
I guess so.
It is sad. It's really sad.
And I tell you what else I do with a model car paint. I would paint my Hot Wheel cars with it too.
Really? I didn't do that because I wouldn't mess mine up for nothing.
Sure did.
One day we're going to get in that attic and we're going to get some old stuff
Hot Wheel cars out.
Yeah.
Yep.
And some old pictures. I think some of y'all might not enjoy it, but we got a big old tote full of family pictures.
Maybe 2 totes.
I don't have as many of yours as I do mine.
Probably 2 totes.
Mine are 2 totes.
Yeah.
But yours, I don't have very many of yours.
Ours are just when we were dating and married.
Yeah, but I've got all of my family pictures when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Mama don't have them. I have them.
Okay. Yeah. My mama's got ours.
Hopefully. They had a fire in the attic, remember?
Yeah.
And hopefully they're all still there.
Yeah.
We need to tell her that that's something that we would like to look through one day. If you're watching, Jean, just know that
I'd like to go in the attic.
Family pictures are something we would love to look at and have.
And see, Mama has y'all's are loose.
Yeah. We used to have albums too. We have albums upon albums.
I would say Mama had the ones with an album that had that clear.
We had that. My daddy was a photographer without being paid for it. And so he took pictures of everything. So we have totes of pictures.
Those albums had the gold binder and had like a beach scene on the front cover.
Got like 10 of those, but then the rest of them are loose.
And it had the sticky stuff on it. And you pulled the clear plastic back. And put that on there and fold it back over. And
Daddy got interested in taking picture of waterfowl at one time. Waterfowl and birds. He had a mallard that he took a picture of that we actually had framed. And it was, I don't know, it was about half the size of this American flag behind us. And we had it hanging up in our house. It was a photograph. But he was very proud of it. And for him to see Mary Carl being into photography, wouldn't they have a time?
They would have.
Excuse me.
Absolutely would have had a time.
Yeah, they wouldn't be any Brooke and Jason going
birding.
My daddy would be right along with her.
He so would. Oh goodness.
And he would be the one to learn all this stuff. Oh goodness, I learn something new every day. Daniel Arms had a video up this past weekend. I don't know if it was an old video, because I remember he had what he called a buzzard to lay eggs in his barn.
Mm-hmm.
And that was last year, because
I think so.
He sent you a picture of it, wanting to know what kind of bird it was.
Mm-hmm.
And so Mary Carl immediately identified it and said, "That's a vulture." Mm-hmm. Well, Daniel was calling it a buzzard, and that kind of stuff just gets off with Mary Carl. Not Daniel, by all means, but the fact that somebody mislabels something.
Yeah.
So that came back up, and I'm not sure if that vulture laid eggs again this year, or if it was an old video that Daniel just reshared.
Maybe.
But needless to say, I showed it to Mary Carl, and I didn't say anything.
Right.
I said, "Mary Carl, look at this." And it was Arm's family, and I showed it to her, and she said, "That is not a buzzard." I got so tickled. I said, "Well, I think maybe you ought to reach out to Daniel and tell him it's a vulture, because we don't have buzzards in the United States." And what tickled me the most was when we got to reading the comments and looking at it.
Some people were saying that?
No.
Oh.
Nobody said that. Oh, okay. Everybody called it a buzzard. And she was fuming. She was like, "These people need to know that there is no such thing as a buzzard in the United States of America." Mm-hmm. They're vultures.
They're vultures.
They're vultures. Catherine knows. She will no longer, ever
call it a buzzard.
The first time that she ever said it in front of Mary Carl, she got taken to school.
Oh, goodness.
Now, this past week, we were Mary Carl and I were sharing her knowledge of birds, and she's not, I'll say conceited. She's not conceited about her knowledge whatsoever.
Right.
She actually kind of keeps it locked inside unless we're conversating about something.
Right.
So upon our trips in the car, birding is top. The best, we call it buzzards. Peggy, you better stop.
We used to call them buzzards.
We used to call them buzzards. They're not buzzards, y'all. They're vultures. So upon our trips in the car, it's a lot of bird talk going on. And she said, "Mama, you know what?" And I said, "What?" She said, "I think I can name all 718 species we have in North America." Oh my gosh. And I said, "Mary Carl, we ain't got that long till we get to wherever we're going." And she said, "I just want to see if I can."
Oh, goodness.
And so she looks it up, and she said 718 off the top of her head. And when I say 718, I'm saying 718. I think that's what she said. But anyway, whatever number she spit out was absolutely correct.
Wow.
And I believe she's right. She can name every single one of them.
I looked it up, and I can't remember the story behind it. There's a reason why they're called buzzards, and
yeah, we got a whole story behind it. Y'all Google it and find out.
Back in the day, it was just they're turkey vultures, and then somehow or another they got to be called turkey buzzard, and then the turkey dropped off and they're called buzzards. I think that's how it came about. But
and there's different varieties of vultures too.
Here we got turkey vultures and black vultures.
But across the United States, I think there's more than 2 varieties. But we do not have buzzards in the United States.
A buzzard is actually, it doesn't look anything like what we see. If you Google it over in Europe, they have them, and they're really, dude, they're cool. They don't look nothing like it. So
Alice said that Daniel shared a video of an eagle feeding a baby the other day. That wasn't it. This was
it's in the outhouse, and it's new.
Oh, it's new. Okay. Okay. So he's the vulture has obviously came back and relaying eggs again this year. And the babies are born white. That is phenomenal to me. How cartoons called them buzzards.
That's what they're saying. That a lot of people are saying. I guess they Googled it, said in the 30s and 40s that they were called buzzards in the cartoons. So.
Well, anyway, she would never tell anybody in front of them that referred to it as a buzzard that it's not a buzzard.
Right.
This is conversation between us and Catherine. Catherine gets schooled. I mean, she's that close to us that she can. She feels comfortable saying, "Catherine,
oh goodness,
don't you ever say that again."
Laid the egg in the toilet in the outhouse.
Oh my gracious! Wow, that's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
And probably not going to lay just one.
Probably not.
Going to be a couple.
Mm.
Yeah. Interesting.
Mm.
It's interesting how slang gets started.
It is.
You know,
yep,
like everybody on here has never heard them called anything but buzzards. And that's just, it's just ironic how things change over time and your mind gets used to it. And I guarantee you, next time y'all say buzzard, you might think that's a vulture, not a buzzard, but you're still going to say buzzard because that's what you're used to saying.
That's what you're used to saying. Yep.
Oh, goodness. Interesting. All right. So the family that is getting little Marion and Marty are coming today to visit, and they will be feeding babies.
That's right.
So the two little girls, Ella and Emma, have attached themselves to different babies, and which I think is a good thing. Not to say they both won't love both. Ella has attached herself to Marty, who's the male, and then Emma is attached herself to Marion. So those two children are going to have so much fun, and these babies are going to be so loved that I feel so good about the whole situation.
Right.
I'm just so happy to see somebody with a smile on their face, and I'll get a text from her mama like this morning. We're coming today. Today's the day.
That's right.
Just the excitement is just so wonderful. Mike said buzzards are in Europe. That's correct.
That's correct. Somebody's, and this made me think of it, and that's true. Talking about how words come about, and you call it that forever, like Kleenex instead of a tissue.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, give me a Kleenex. And I remember, and it's changed because times have changed, but almost everybody used to say Xerox.
Yeah, for a copy machine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Xerox.
I don't know if that was a Southern thing or if
I don't know. Instead of copy machine, you would Xerox it or take it to the Xerox or something like that. And I was trying to think of some more words out there that were like that you say all the time. Here is Coke.
Oh, there's so many.
Every soft drink across the board is a Coke.
And you know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, you can ask any Southerner. We got sweet tea and we got Coke. And that it could be Dr. Pepper, it could be Pepsi, it could be RC.
Sun-Kissed, it doesn't matter. 7-Up, it's
all
a Coke.
Jello is one.
Yep. Jello is one.
That's a brand name.
How about that?
Band-Aids is a brand
name.
Jacuzzi, Band-Aids, Jacuzzi. Scotch tape.
Yep.
Hey,
y'all,
crazy.
The list goes on. Isn't it funny how that happens? And don't you know those companies are so happy? Ziploc bags,
crescent wrench,
everything. There's the list goes on. Michael said air conditioner. Oh goodness, that's funny.
Oh goodness, the air conditioner's been running this week.
Q-tips. Wow, y'all are gonna get this thread to going. And
a lot of people drink pop.
Okay, and soda.
So I had cousins that lived in Washington,
Washington State,
and they called it pop. And the other thing that they called, and at the time it really didn't mean anything because we were young, and times were different because this certain pieces of clothing was not that popular then. I'm sure it existed, but nobody talked about it. But we called them flip-flops. Yeah. They called them thongs.
What is it? Something that we call, oh goodness. And in other countries, it's a bad word. We've been told to don't say that.
We told that nugget is a kind of a bad word in
this
Australia.
Is something else.
Gosh, I can't remember. Frigidaire was one. Her grandma always called it a Frigidaire. Yep. See that?
Huh.
I could see that.
The list goes on. It's interesting to see all the terms that we refer to.
Yep. They called them thongs.
Fanny, they said. Fanny and where is it that fanny's a bad word? To us, it's not at all. Fanny pack. Okay. So we say fanny pack. And
that's a bad word.
Yes, it's a bad word. And we have never, ever heard. I don't even remember what the meaning is of it, but we were told that it's a bum bag.
A bum bag.
It's not a fanny pack. But in the United States, I don't know of anywhere that it's not called in England, it's a bad word.
Ain't that something?
Yes. And
Ain't that
y'all,
crazy?
fanny pack is bad in the United Kingdom. And I bet y'all in the United Kingdom have got your hand over your face saying those Southerners won't shut up. Because we don't know what it means. So we're sorry if we offended anybody, but that's what I've always called it. I had a PE teacher that wore one, and she was quite an oddball. She was from South Florida, and not an oddball in a bad way. She was just different than what we were used to. So she wore what did they say to call it?
A bum bag.
She wore a bum bag. I'm going to not say that anymore. When I put one on this summer, I'm going to say my bum bag, okay? She wore one, and we always said fanny pack, and never thought twice about it. Tupperware, that's another one.
Oh, yeah, Tupperware.
Everything's Tupperware.
Tupperware.
I bet y'all's brains are working toboggan.
That's what Michael Key just said. I was fixing to say it. Because they toboggan.
I bet y'all's wheels are turning, and you're trying to think of words that just gym clips.
Yeah.
That's just goodness gracious. The list goes on and on and on. Body parts. I guess that's what the slang is.
Yeah, and somebody said that they had some people from New Zealand, and the cute little said the word booger. You know, it's a cute little booger. You know, I say it all the time.
Right.
And
chapstick.
I've had people say, I say chapstick all the time. That say, you know, that's the ugly word in such and such, or that's not used that way in such and such. And soda's called tonic.
Wow, that's crazy.
Push toter.
I saw somebody said to call it that, and I was like, goodness gracious, I can't even remember the alternative to being called bum bag, much less tush toter. But that is a good one.
That is a good one.
I'll have to try to do better.
That's funny.
But right now I've got pockets in my pants.
Is piddling a bad word?
Yes, piddling is a bad word. Really? Yes.
Man, I just no way I can stop. I can't stop not say piddling.
I think bum bag is worse.
In the United States, it would be, wouldn't it?
Oh, goodness.
Oh, piddling is the same as
going to the bathroom, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Going to the bathroom. How about that?
Were you just piddling around?
Y'all just know that you might just have to Google Southern slang. Catherine said Tony's always piddling. He must drink a lot.
Oh, goodness.
A lot of water through him.
Oh, man.
That's funny. I can't help but laugh, and I can't quit reading all these things. Yeah. All right, so some of you have wondered what's on my shirt. Well, we're going to say it's Matilda because this big cow right here is obviously an advertisement for Luberson, which they sent me this t-shirt, and I'm awfully proud of it because let me tell y'all, I had started keeping a journal. I have been achy. I've been very achy. And so I started writing down the days when I felt better, the days when I felt worse, what was going on, what happened. So I started my Luberson last Tuesday, and that was the day we did our live, and that was the day it came in. So a tablespoon a day for 7 days, 7 to 10 days. It's a loading dose. Then I'll go to a teaspoon. Yesterday, y'all, when I woke up, I was pain-free. And I mean, I don't know if it's the Luberson. I can't tell you, but I can tell you that I have been achy every single day up until yesterday. And nothing has changed with my medicine. It wasn't my injection day. There was no additional medication taken. Nothing has changed. And today was the same. I woke up and I'm not aching all over. You can tell a difference.
I can.
When I ache and I hurt, I'm not a nice person to be around 100% of the time.
Right.
You can just tell that I don't want to do as much.
Right.
I'm rather short with my answers and such. And I have felt better these past 2 days. So let's hope that this is working for me like it is Matilda. Yesterday, Matilda was out in the big pasture area that we allow the geese and Nugget to go in sometimes. And I actually videoed her. She's going up and down those hills.
Yeah.
And she's not showing any, any way that that leg's bothering her. So I went right up and down the hills with her because my joints weren't bothering me. MSN is what mine is fortified with. You'll have to read about that. I talked to the company and they told me that in my case, they would do the MSN fortified. MSM fortified. And so I did. But I don't know if that's what you need or not. So that's something you'll have to research and kind of decide on your own. But I hope it continues, and I'll continue to update y'all. Once I get on that teaspoon, I don't know if the loading dose is helping me or if it's, if it's just going to help all the time. Some people said they can't take MSM. I don't know what it does to them, but I can. So I'm thrilled to report that. Is it somebody said MS? Is it MSM?
It's MSM.
Okay.
Not N.
Nancy, MSM. And she explained it to me. She said it's a big, long, gigantic word, but it doesn't necessarily, it sounds scary is what she said, but it's I just researched it.
Somebody said that they've been taking it 4 days and they noticed their elbow and their hip is much better. That's just interesting. That's unreal.
I just have to say, I just didn't think it was going to
work. I'd love to see the feedback, which we've got a ton of feedback about animals.
Yes.
How well it works on animals. Ton of feedback on that for sure. People had already been using it for their animals.
Yes. Yeah, people have been using it for their animals. And a lot of people sent us message and said that they read a lot of reviews across the board. Well, I had no reason to read reviews because Dr. D referred it for Matilda.
That's
I didn't need to read reviews. That's my vet. I trust him.
Right.
Just like my doctor. I trust my doctor. So I didn't read any reviews, but Matilda told the story for me, but y'all have read reviews from not just the Luberson website, but different places. Chewy sells it for animals. Amazon sells it for animals and humans. Of course, you don't get the percentage off if you buy it from them. I didn't get a percentage off because I ordered it direct from Luberson without a link.
Right.
But all the reviews are good.
They're really good. They're really good.
So that makes me feel better. Do you have a link for a discount? Yes, it's actually on our website.
It's on our website now. So just go to www.coghillfarm.com. It'll be there, and the promo code's there as well.
Yeah, it's the promo code is COGHILL. If you just go to luberson.com, COGHILL, all one word. And Jacqueline was sweet enough, kind enough. We can't say enough words to describe those two over at Head Family Farm. I guess we should say Eleanor too, because she's a big part of that. Jacqueline does so much for us, and it's time to thank her for that.
And somebody sent Lester a bottle of it. Some people ask him about Lester, and so Lester has it now.
For Ringo and for him, I believe.
I think so. I think that is correct. I got two more words that we associate with it. Everything. Kool-Aid.
Kool-Aid. Yep. That is another one.
I mean, no matter what brand of, I mean, what else would you even call it? What would you call it besides Kool-Aid?
Colored drink.
I mean, what else? And Lifesavers.
Lifesavers. How about that?
That was the other one. I saw somebody asking about Moody and the Flies. So that stuff seems to be working well. And I got a ton of feedback from people that actually use the sock. And they said it works.
Wow.
So I'm going to put the sock up. I call it a sock. I forget what the technical term is, but yeah, I'm going to put that up somewhere where Moody walks a lot.
Because he's the worst one.
He's the worst one.
Obviously, it's because of his color.
We think it's because of the color for sure. And he's so big too, so it may attract more flies as well. But that is working. I had some other suggestions too. I got several because we have tried some homemade stuff and it didn't work, but I had several that looked a little different that I may whip up and see how it goes as well. The main thing is, of course, does it work? And how long does it last? Because wiping him down takes a good little minute, and that's if he wants to let you wipe him that day.
That's
Some
right.
days he don't want you to mess with him. So,
and some of y'all suggested using a garden pump up sprayer. He will not let us do that.
He does not like the spraying whatsoever. It don't matter what type we've used. We've used several different kinds. Now, somebody said that their beautician uses one.
Skin So Soft, Avon.
Well, that you just press the button and it just continues to spray.
Huh.
And it's not as loud. So I may look into that. The Skin So Soft sounds fabulous, but I think one whole bottle would do him in one wiping. I mean, he's that big.
Well, recently when I wiped him down, I just took a rag and saturated the rag, and he does not mind you just wiping him. He doesn't mind you wiping him down. He's like closing his eyes thinking you're brushing him.
That's right.
So if he sees you coming with a squirt bottle or spray bottle
or
a pump up sprayer,
he's gone.
That's not going to work for Moody. And you sure don't want that big old 3,000 pound. Well, I was going to say bull, but he's not a bull. He might as well be running at you.
Yeah, he does not like even to pour on because he thinks it's a spray bottle, and you have to be
very secretive.
You do. You have to kind of. In the video, I had it in my back pocket where you. And then but he saw it come out. When he saw that bottle come out, he took off on me. Luckily, I was able to get most of it on. Well, I did get it on him. The
best thing that I think we need to do is just do it when he's laying down, because he's at ease at that point. As long as he doesn't see a bottle,
right?
He's good. But wiping him down works. If he can wipe his own self, that would work even better.
Yeah, that would work even better. I even had a cattle farmer reach out to me and said that I had one person say that the ear tags didn't work. But this person said it does work, but it's only for face flies, the ones that get on his horns and the ones that get on his face, and that works. And he uses the back rub too. Yep, I even saw people say just hang up a piece of burlap, it's saturated, and they'll walk under it and get that on there too.
Tony said, "What about a small paint roller?"
I ain't thought about that.
That might work.
Go out there with a paint can and.
Well, no, just use a paint roller. Have a little thing that we dip it in.
I know what you're saying.
Roll that might work.
That may work.
Thanks, Tony. That was a good idea.
Huh.
Interesting. We're just going to experiment because obviously he's a big boy, and I didn't mean to sound like he'd come at us. He doesn't get mad and come at us.
He runs away from you.
He just gets upset, and we don't want to see anything upset. So yeah. One more thing I wanted to say, and that is that, have you noticed pecan trees are budding out?
They are budding out.
They are very much so budding out. Yesterday I had to make a run to Selma. Well, there was something that I wanted to ask about for Catherine. And at this place where I stopped and talked to this gentleman that was outside, Mary Carl was rolling her eyes because I said, I got to stop and ask this man a question. She's like, Mama, what are you talking about? So I pull into this driveway of this place, and there's some pecan trees out front. And me and the gentleman that I was speaking with got to talking about them. And he said, you know what they say about when the pecan trees start to bud out? And I said, yes, I do. I said, what do you know? And he said, time to plant that garden.
That's right.
So that is indication that winter is over, so to speak. Not to say it won't be cold temperatures, but no real sub-freezing temperatures. There we go, Jason.
Well, I was pulling this up because somebody said, why did we take the pool up from the emus? And we haven't. We haven't. The pool's still there.
And Tater's there.
We never took the pool up. But you can see there's Tater.
You didn't leave it there long enough.
Yep, right there. Miss Tater.
So the Moody and Mildred have moved on, and Tater has taken their spot in the corral area, where I hope she decides to have her calf, of course she's going to have it wherever she chooses. But I'm happy to see that she is frequenting that area a lot. Makes me wonder if she might be going to calf there. Tomorrow we got storms pretty much all day long here. Some could be severe, and they're expecting rain of 1 to 2 inches. So we need the rain. Not saying we don't need the rain, but the severe weather can take a hike wherever it goes. None of us need that. Just probably gonna have that calf. And
ain't that true?
Had
Clorox.
Clorox is one.
I say Clorox every time. I never say bleach. Never.
The lady at the feed store that I talked to about Tater, every time I go in there, she's a cattle farmer. Her and her husband are cattle farmers. And she says, last time I was in there, she said, she's probably going to calf on Wednesday, whatever day that was. I said, why do you say that? She said, because it's going to storm. And I said, oh, really? And she said, yeah. She said, our cows tend to calf when it's storming. Well, pressure change, and we've told all that. She said that one time her husband was out in the pasture and he was doing his best to get a cow to a corral because it was about to calf and it was about to storm. She said he's out there in the field, and all of a sudden lightning happened and it hit their fence charger and exploded it into hundreds of pieces. So her words to me was, if it's storming, do not go try to get that cow
it's too dangerous
to safety, because your life is at risk. And I will abide by that.
Dangerous.
I will watch her on the camera, and I will know that she probably knows best as to where to go.
One I see coming up a lot, and that is the garlic salt lick or whatever.
Redmond salt.
We tried that and we didn't see any difference with Moody whatsoever. Zero. Remember last year I bought a big jug of dried garlic because Brant said that his wife would sprinkle that on their feed, and but he didn't know if it worked or not. And we tried it and it didn't seem like it worked at all, but from what I gather is that the garlic does work.
It probably puts the smell off that the flies don't like.
But it's not as much as you think. It was like a 10 to 15% reduction in flies, which is some reduction.
So I'm in the same feed store that I'm talking about that has the husband and wife that are cattle farmers, and I'm buying cow minerals a long time ago. We have always used the mineral lick, and they suggested that I start Tater on the loose cow minerals. And they said when you get to summertime, we don't make, but they make some that have a fly repellent in it that you can swap to. And so they said it worked. The woman said, I think it works. And the man's behind, because he's the one that feeds the cows, and he's going, don't work. Don't waste your money. It don't work. And so she said, oh, it don't work? And he said, don't waste your money. So I'm not going to buy the minerals that have the repellent in it.
The only thing that gets me about that I've seen, the minerals that have the fly control in it, and they say it's garlic, it's about 5 times more than a regular salt rock.
Yeah.
And you're like, if it's just garlic, you can just buy a whole thing of garlic.
Well, he told me to don't waste my money. So if the feed store told me to don't waste my money and they're on the receiving end, that makes me feel good. I think I know that I don't need to spend the money on it.
And it may work in different areas. It may be the type of flies. It may be different flies, or it may work for that fly versus this fly. I think ours are stall flies that we see on Moody a lot.
One thing, Jason, we're fixing to quit because we got things.
I know we got things we got to do.
But Miss Catherine over at G&G has a video that is going to be out this morning, and it is a big, big deal. So if y'all want something to do after our live, please go over to G&G on her YouTube channel. And Catherine, if you will, put a link to it on Facebook too, so people can find it easily. G&G Farm, and you'll see what she's got going on over there. It's gonna be fun. Are you finished with your French vanilla coffee?
It's gone. It
All
still
right.
smells
I
like
got a
French
little
vanilla.
bit left, but I'm gonna finish. I'm gonna swig it down in a minute because
Okay.
it's obviously cooled off. So whatever y'all are doing today, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. And we're going to do just that. Y'all stay safe. If you got bad weather, if you got good weather, still stay safe.
That's right.
And we plan to be back here Tuesday. Yep. And hopefully Tater will have a calf.
I wanted to bring this up.
What?
I've had several people say that in the email, it says I'm a half a decade old.
Oh, you're only 5.
I'm only 5. So,
Jacqueline, we love you.
I'm a half a century. Jacqueline did that. This popped off the bottom of my cup.
We're going to celebrate this 5-year-old all year long. So whatever y'all are doing, I hope you have a good day.
Y'all be good.
5 whole years. Mm-hmm.